Welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Edward Blakemore, and I am the immediate past president of the City Club New Leaders and Corporate Defense Council for Eden Corporation. The City Club of Cleveland is one of America's oldest and most revered public podiums, specifically designed to encourage free speech and furthering the local and national public discourse. One of the best aspects about my continued affiliation with the City Club is the willingness of its staff to permit my colleagues and I to develop programming which attempts to highlight the significant contributions of all people who call our city home. At a time when our local print and television media and many disillusioned people spend a great deal of time championing their subjective belief that there is no new leadership in the city of Cleveland, I thought there was no more appropriate time to bring 4 young and emerging leaders to this podium to discuss their vision for the city and how they have made it a better place to live and work. They will also discuss how they've become successful leaders in such a short time, as well as strategies other leaders can utilize in an effort to replicate their success. One of our first panelists here is my dear colleague April Miller Boise. She's partner in charge of the Cleveland office of the national law firm Thompson, Hines. As partner in charge, she manages the activities of 144 lawyers, as well as continuing her own active practice specializing in corporate transactions and securities. April is on the board of trustees of several organizations, including the Cleveland Food Bank, Tri-C, and the Cleveland Zoological Society. She's also been recognized as an Ohio super lawyer, a Chambers USA leading lawyer, and by Securities Law 360 is one of its 40 lawyers to watch under 40. One of our other colleagues here is my dear colleague Baiju Shah. He's president, CEO, and founder of BioEnterprise. His company is an innovative partnership between Case Western Reserve University, University Hospitals, Cleveland Clinic, and Summa Healthcare System, specifically designed to support the formation, recruitment, and growth of bioscience companies. Under his leadership, BioEnterprise has recruited, created, and accelerated the growth of more than 80 bioscience companies and obtained in excess of $825 million in new funding for these business ventures. Before founding BioEnterprise, Baiju was an integral part of McKinsey & Company's growth and building practice group. He's also a member of the Board of Trustees for the Great Lakes Science Center, St. Luke's Foundation, and the Yale University Alumni Association, and has been recognized by Ernst & Young as its Entrepreneur of the Year. Randell McShepard is the Vice President for Public Affairs of RPM International. In that position, his responsibilities include managing the company's corporate philanthropy program and facilitating corporate purchasing initiatives. Mr. McShepard is also one of the co-founders of Policy Bridge, a local think tank addressing issues specific to the Black community. Randy serves on the Board of Trustees for several organizations, including the United Way of Greater Cleveland, Baldwin Wallace College, and Business Volunteers Unlimited. He's a graduate of Leadership Cleveland and was recently inducted into the John F. Kennedy High School Hall of Fame. Last but not least, Chris Ronayne is the president of University Circle Incorporated. In that capacity, he has overseen the revitalization and growth of one of the fastest growing and most vibrant areas of the city of Cleveland. Prior to joining University Circle Incorporated, Chris was the chief of staff and campaign manager for former Mayor Jane Campbell. Chris has also been recognized as the Smart Business Nonprofit Executive of the Year and is one of Crane's Cleveland Business 40 Under 40. Today, I am confident we will put an end to the myth that Cleveland has no new leadership. Without any further ado, please join me in welcoming our distinguished panel to the City Club of Cleveland. So we're going to do this in kind of a moderated discussion. I want just throwing this out to Baiju, why don't you start off? Why don't you discuss some of the most positive things that are taking place in Cleveland and how you're seeking to build upon that momentum with your own community initiatives?
I think one of the trends that I find very heartening about Cleveland is re-embracing entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism in all dimensions, whether that's people starting new companies or people starting new not-for-profits or new civic initiatives. We've gone from a town where we have been looking to leaders for answers to a town where individuals are taking the responsibility into their own hands and starting their own ventures to make Cleveland a better place.
Anyone else like to comment?
I'll just piggyback on what Baiju just said. We're seeing that as well at our firm and in our practice and the types of clients that we're working with. For example, Baiju is very knowledgeable about this because this is what he does every day, but there are a lot of venture firms that are coming to Cleveland, and the nonprofit community has gotten involved by saying, we want to see more funds come to Cleveland to invest in entrepreneurial companies. So in order to encourage that, some of the foundations, the Cleveland Foundation, GAR Foundation, Case Western Reserve, for example, are putting capital together to start venture firms to encourage venture capitalists to come to Ohio and invest in Ohio companies. And I think that's really encouraging because people want to be here and want to start businesses, but it's difficult to do that without access to capital. And they're not the type of businesses that on day one a bank, for example, is going to invest in. And so by having that money available and encouraging people to put together business plans and seek out capital and have venture capitalists come to Ohio to invest in these companies, it's just going to continue the cycle.
I would add, on a different topic, I think that I'm very excited about the real focus that I'm seeing on education and really elevating the quality of education in Northeast Ohio, not only with the Cleveland schools, which I think has done a great job of really focusing on things like STEM, or the School of Science and Medicine, where I happen to be a board member, but also the charter school movement and starting to really see, some of the impact of that, and just a broad community discussion and attention being paid to the importance of elevating our game, understanding the role that education will play in the future success of our city and our region. So that's been very exciting to see.
Yes, I just said we're 1 game down and 15 to go. So, also, I think from a city perspective, we are beginning to reorganize for success. I think we're focused as a community on transformative investments that need to happen in this community, and we are, going through our fits and starts. But I think the big issue is we are organizing around our assets. I think we're starting to get it, and Baiju's been leading us for a long time toward that answer that medical is our future, that waterfronts are our future, that alternative energies are in our future, and all of them relate to serious job economic development strategies. And the fact that this town is sort of getting around the same assets and supporting what's working is encouraging. I also think it's important that we start looking at different city vitals in terms of what makes for a successful city. And we have, I think, gotten past the issue of looking at numbers of Fortune 5s in our city as the benchmark for urban vitality. I think we're getting into some of the more qualitative issues that are important to our city. In University Circle, where I work, we grew in the last census. We grew 12%. It's nice to hear a part of the city's growing. We also grew internationally. The fastest growing populations in University Circle come from other countries. To us, that's been sort of the history of cities, and it needs to be the future of cities. So looking at things, number one, in support of what's working and rallying around those as a community, but two, looking at different vital, sort of city vital statistics are encouraging. Also, I'll throw in on the school side, we once in a while have a group of high school students here for City Club forums. Number one, I think they're growingly engaged because their teachers are getting them more engaged on regional issues. And number two, it's nice to see, as Randy mentioned, this sort of broader based system of education advancement starting to take place in people's minds, and I think it's actually being effectuated. John Hay High School in University Circle just beat the test averages last year of Ohio Achievement Tests, and they're testing above the state averages. That's encouraging.
Can I just add another comment on education? Just to reiterate that, I think the education piece is so important, and I think really if every one of us in this room is not focused on that, that we should be. Even if it's not what we do every day, it's so important, our workforce readiness, the readiness of our workforce for us to attract other employers here, but also educating the kids that we already have here. It's so important, and I think many of the charter schools are doing a great job. Citizens Academy is, I think, doing phenomenal work. The urban school is doing a great job. E-Prep, just so many different education innovations that are going on right here in our community. And I know we have a partner school at our firm, some other nonprofits that I'm involved with. We volunteer at schools to really get involved with the kids and help them and encourage them. But I think it really takes one person to reach one kid, and I think we all know that we can only do so much. You can't reach an entire school or an entire population. But even if you're reaching one kid, if you think back about the people in your lives that made a difference, sometimes it's just that one person. And I think it's really important for all of us to really focus on that and think about that.